Hey guys, welcome back. After going through the Demon Slayer manga, I found the backstories of each Hashira, what motivated them to become demon slayers. From the death of their loved ones, to searching for someone who'll love them for who they really are, I'm going to be explaining it all in this video, so you definitely want to watch till the end so you don't miss any detail. So if you're ready, grab yourself a drink, get comfortable and let's go. Number 1, Giyu the Water Hashira. Before the day of her wedding, Tsutako, Giyu's older sister, sacrificed herself to save Giyu and gets killed by a demon. After the death of his older sister, Giyu tries telling the others that his sister was killed by a demon, but they won't believe him and sends him to a doctor, thinking he's mentally ill. During the journey, he ran away and almost died on a mountain, but was rescued and trained by Urokodaki. At the age of 13, he met Sabito, and they became good friends due to their similar pasts and age. Together, they took the final selection exam. During the exam, after being injured by a demon, Giyu gets saved by Sabito, who defeats nearly all the demons on the mountain. It was then revealed to Giyu that Sabito had been killed by a demon during the exam. Sometime after, probably the age of 17, Giyu then becomes a Hashira, but still thinks he's not worth the position. He thought that it was Sabito's, and to a smaller extent, his sister's efforts that allowed him to become a Hashira and not his own. Number 2, Rengoku, the Flame Hashira. Gyojuro was the eldest son of Shinjiro Rengoku. His family had produced several flame Hashiras, so it was his destiny to become an Hashira. Also, his mother's wish was for him to become a pillar and protect the weak, knowing her son had the potential. Unfortunately, she later died sometime after giving birth due to an untreatable disease. After the death of his mother, his father retired as an Hashira and told him to quit being a demon slayer and stop training him. But despite that, Gyojuro trained himself to become a Hashira by learning from a flame-breathing style guidebook, which only had 3 volumes. According to my research, he probably took the final selection at age 12 or 13, and on his first mission, he fought the flute demon, in which he had to rupture his own eardrum to prevent the effects of the demon's flute. He eventually defeated the demon, and later, after lots of self-training and missions, became the Flame Hashira at probably the age of 18 or 19, fulfilling his promise to his mother to protect the weak. Number 3, Shinobu, the Insect Hashira. Shinobu was born into a wealthy family, who worked in compounding medicine. She was the youngest daughter of the Kocho household. Until, her parents was slain by a demon. Just when the demon was about to take the lives of her and her sister, they were saved by the Hashira, Gyomei Himejima, who slayed the demon. As a result of their loss, Shinobu and her sister, Kana-e, decide to become demon slayers. Eventually, after managing to move a boulder, they convinced Gomiyai to introduce them to a cultivator. After becoming demon slayers, Kana-e gets killed by the Upper Moon 2, Doma. Shinobu starts to adopt her sister's personality, trying to fulfill her dream of finding harmony between demons and humans, despite the rage she has over the death of her sister. And later becomes a Hashira, and even works with Tamayo to make a drug to weaken Muse. Number 4, Tengen, the Sound Hashira. Tengen was born into a family of 9 children within a shinobi clan. 3 of his siblings had died before they were 10 because of the extreme training they went through. As children, their father made them believe innocent lives had to be disposed for their own benefit, and had to have wives for offsprings. As for his remaining siblings, his father forced them to fight and kill each other without them knowing who they were fighting. Tengen only realized this after killing 2 of his brothers. At the age of 15, 7 of his siblings had already died, leaving him and his brother, who was 2 years younger. When Tengen's younger brother adopted this mindset, and wasn't feeling bad about their dead siblings, Tengen left the clan without fighting his brother. At age 15 he had 3 wives, as it was the practice of his clan. He then taught them to value themselves before the mission, which was against his clan's teaching. After his departure, Tengen and his family searched for Kagaya Yubuyashiki to help fight for the demon slayers, and he formally joined. Tengen would later go on to become the Sound Hashira before Sanemi Shinazugawa became a Hashira, and when Kana-e Kocho was a member. Number 5, Moychiro, the Mist Hashira. At the age of 10, Moychiro's mother died due to sickness. Their father, who was away at the time, went to fetch medicinal herbs during a storm and ended up falling off a cliff to his death. After the death of their parents, Moychiro and his older twin brother, Muichiro, had to fend for themselves. Both of them lived in a house in the woods and were separated from people. Since they were descended from the first breath of demon slayers, Amane Yubuyashiki came to recruit them to join the demon slayer corps. Unfortunately, Moichiro's excitement was opposed by Yuichiro's unwelcoming and rejecting reception. In an outburst, Yuichiro revealed that he blamed the death of their parents on their hard-working and selfless nature and adopted a cold outlook, hoping to keep himself and his brother alive. and drove Amane Yubuyashiki away, sometimes even pouring water on her. One night, their house gets attacked by a demon and Muichiro gets killed while Moychiro used every tool they had to kill the demon. As the sun rose, the demon turned to ash and Moychiro saw that his brother was dead. Worms had already infested he and his dead brother's body before he was found. Due to this incident, Moychiro loses his memory, but the rage of his brother's death remained with him. He later joined the Demon Slayer Corps and within 2 months became the Mist Hashira at age 14. Number 6, Mitsuri, the Love Hashira. Mitsuri was born in the Meiji period, among 5 siblings and displayed an unnatural strength at a young age. Due to the fact she was afflicted with a genetic mutation, which makes her muscles several times denser than the average human. Shocking even her mother, who was known for her strength. Mitsuri grew up eating much more than the average person, and developed pink hair as a result of eating too much sakura mochi, which made people see her as a freak, and got her rejected from a marriage proposal. After she was rejected, she proceeded to dye her hair black and act as though she was weak. After doing this, she was approached by a suitor who wanted to marry her, but she rejected the proposal, because after thinking, she concluded that she didn't want to end up with someone who didn't like her for who she was. Mitsuri then encounters Kagaya Yubuyashiki, who told her to reject the idea of trying to fit in because her strength was a gift from God. After this, she joins the Demon Slayer Corps and worked with Rengoku, and developed her love breathing during their training. Due to her immense strength, she rose to the rank of a Hashira, and sought to find a man who was much stronger than her, instead of acting weak. Number 7, Obanai, the Snake Hashira. Obanai was born into a clan of thieves, who lived off an excessive amount of riches that had been stolen from those who had been killed by a snake demon they worshipped. The demon's face and lower half of the body took the form of a snake and loved eating babies. His family sacrificed their own children in exchange for the stolen goods of the people the demon had killed. Since Obanai was the only boy born to the family in a long time, and had different colored eyes, the demon decided to let him get bigger before she ate him. At the age of 12, Obanai was taken out of the cell for the first time, to the snake shrine, and his mouth was slit, to look similar to the demon. After being returned to his cell, he lived in fear and planned to escape, by scratching his cell with a hairpin he had stolen, at night. The only one he could trust was a white snake, Kaburamaru, who he considered his close friend. When he finally escaped, he was chased by the demon. But luckily he was saved by the then flame Hashira Shinjuro. Because of his escape, the demon killed 50 of his relatives, leaving only his cousin. When they finally reunited, his cousin blamed him for their dead relatives, and said he should have died instead. Due to his self-guilt, Obanai joined the Demon Slayer Corps and decided to turn his rage to any demons he could find, figuring it'd be better to risk his life for others, and ease his guilt. Number 8, Sanami, the Wind Hashira. Sanami was the eldest son born into a family of 7 children, and they were constantly abused by their father, but their mother always tried protecting them, even though she had a small body. One day, their father gets stabbed by someone who held a grudge against him. After their father's death, Sanami and Genya decided to support their mother and the family. One day, their mother went out, and after so much time had passed, she didn't return. So Sanami decided to go out and look for her. Back at home, their mother, who had been turned into a demon, had returned, and the children, not knowing, opened the door and was attacked by what they thought was a wolf. As Genya was about to be killed by the demon, Sanami arrived and tackled the demon into the street with a knife he had in hand. In the ensuing fight, she gave him the 2 large scars across his face, but his Morechi blood, which disoriented demons and makes them act intoxicated, gave him an opening and he was able to kill her. When Genya runs into the street to find a doctor to treat his heavily injured siblings, he finds Sanami and his mother laying dead in front of him. He accuses his brother of killing his mother, not knowing what he thought was a wolf, which attacked was actually his mother who had turned into a demon. Sanami, still in shock, became partially colorblind as their mother dissolved in the sunlight. After this, Sanami abandons Genya and starts hunting demon with various weapons, without knowledge of Nichiren swords, by capturing and stringing them up till day so they'll die. He later meets a real demon slayer, Kumeno, who introduces him to a trainer. The 2 of them teamed up to defeat the then lower rank one of the 12 Kizuki. However, Kumeno lost his life in the battle, and only Sanami was promoted to the rank of Wind Hashira. At the time of his promotion, Gyomei Hamjima, Kana A Kocho, Tengen Uzui, and Giyu Tomioka were already Hashira. Number 9, Gyomei, the Stone Hashira. Before he became a demon slayer, he lived with 9 children who were orphans and raised them in a temple. The area was well known for demon attacks, so Gyomei burned wisteria incense every night to ward off demons. One night, one of the child disobeyed the temple's rules and didn't return after sunset. He then encountered a demon and, in order to save his life, told the demon to eat Gomiyai and the other children instead. At night, after putting out the wisteria incense, he invited the demon. The demon immediately started killing the children. Gyomei told them not to leave the temple, but, due to him being blind and slim, the children disobeyed him and insisted on escaping the temple. Those children had their throats ripped out by the demon. In the end, only one child, the youngest, Sayo, had listened and stayed behind in fear of the demon. As the demon proceeded to attack Gyomei, he punched it and realized he had great power. After beating the demon's head till day, he finally defeated it. But when people came to help, and asked Sayo, the only child who had survived, what happened, she said, "That man, he's a monster, he killed them all," thinking she was referring to Gyomei. The villagers charged him with murder and imprisoned him. He would have been executed for his false crime, if not for the intervention of Kaguya Yubuyashiki. He later became a demon slayer and, after 2 months, a Hashira. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to like and subscribe with post notifications on. See you next time.